Welcome to Grimes, Iowa. One of the fastest growing communities in the state of Iowa, one of the fastest growing communities in the Midwest. We have a lot going on in Grimes. New commercial development, growing schools, improved residential growth opportunities around every corner. I'm Brian Beathy. I'm the President and CEO at Grimes Chamber and Economic Development, and I'm proud to represent one of the fastest growing communities in the state of Iowa. We have the opportunity to engage with a lot of people that consider Grimes for development, and they tell me that they want to be in Grimes because of our location. We're part of a thriving metropolitan area here in the greater Des Moines area, and we have a lot of good things going for us. We have workforce. We have a growing population, a population that is estimated to double within the next decade and grow beyond that. We have room to grow, so we have fields of opportunities existing right here in our community. So Grimes is a very diverse community, but a community primarily of young families. We have people moving here from all over, not only the state of Iowa, but the Midwest. It's a place that people want to be.
We've been owners up here for over 10 years. Started out buying a piece of farm ground that we felt like had some potential, and ended up being able to strike a deal with Menards, and that kind of kicked off the project in our eyes up here. And ever since that happened, I mean, just the explosive growth that Grimes has been experiencing has just really kind of pushed the momentum on the whole project. So since then, you've seen an Aldi's and the Quick Star, these two buildings, as well as a lot of other stuff kind of coming into the area. And there's plenty of ground out here. We've got over 40 acres of additional development ground ready to go. You know, we've had a number of conversations with a wide variety of users, from whether it be hotels to restaurants to daycares to medical to financial. We're excited to see where this ground goes and the types of users that continue to inquire into this area up here.
Grimes is around 15,000 people today, but we estimate it'll be 28,000 to 30,000 people by the end of this decade. So within the last year, the city of Grimes has greatly increased their development services to the development community. They've stood up a development services department and brought on a lot of well-respected professionals to help make the development process in Grimes even better than it ever has been before. This will help guide us into the future and make the growth scenario in Grimes predictable for people that are trying to make good business decisions.
They actually went above and beyond, way beyond what they should have had to do to help get us into this building. We were running behind with construction, just like any project does. But my architect, good friend of mine, works downtown, and he works on a lot of different projects, not only around the state of Iowa, but in the United States. And he said this was by far the easiest city to work with. We had people that would really give us tips and advice and sit down with us and negotiate things that not only were you know, good ideas from a business standpoint, the stuff they didn't really have to do. Our address was a good example. We could have had two different addresses, and it was a city planner that said, you know, you need 1750 Southeast 11th because people know where 11th Street was. And even the fire department sat down and helped us kind of map out things, what we would need, what we wouldn't. The whole inspection process was very seamless, and it almost felt like the city was a step ahead of us with all of this. So we really appreciate how much effort they put in that they didn't have to.
It's always fun to be part of an area that's experiencing a lot of growth, but that could pose some challenges, especially for a smaller community. With Grimes, I would tell you that our experience has been they've gotten out in front of it, they've hired additional staff, you know, from the mayor and the city council to the development services group to the economic development group. Development services is collaborative as you're discussing a project with them. You know, trying to work out solutions to areas that you need to work out, as opposed to just saying no, come back with something different. They're at the table with you saying, you know, this is more along the lines of what we think will work. Yeah, the mayor, the council, economic development, they've all been really great to work with. And like I said, really in front of it, because sometimes it's if you've got a ton of things going on, it's hard to keep up with everything, and they've done a good job getting out in front. So.
People used to joke about it being too far away from Des Moines, and now we can get downtown from here in 15 minutes. It's really it's a lot closer than what people think. But at the same time, it really had that small town feel, despite all the growth that we saw, and that's really what we wanted to center our business around, was that small town feel. We cater to a lot of the families, kids that are in school and sports. Cater to a lot of the great nonprofits that we've got in this town, like the Grimes Volunteer Support Services. Just gives this whole town a feel that it's smaller than what it really is, despite all this growth. It's a weird compliment to have all these new businesses and industries, but at the same time, neighbors that get together for barbecues out in the driveways and feeling safe when you go to sleep at night. It's exactly what we were looking for in a community.
I think I'm probably most excited about the city's investment in those quality of life amenities, park and trail systems, and my wife and I have got young kids, and it's just great to live in a community that provides things for young families to do. A lot of new retail growth in our community, as well as continued strong commercial and industrial growth in our business parks.
So Grimes has a variety of development occurring in our community, everywhere from light manufacturing to warehousing that needs to take advantage of logistical benefits that we provide, to housing, all sorts of housing, primarily single-family homes, but also apartments and townhomes. We're trying to make something available for everybody that wants to be a part of a thriving community like this.
The city continues to invest heavily in infrastructure projects, so the city's building a 7 to 8 mile sewer main to connect to the WRA so that we can decommission our wastewater treatment plant. We're building a new reverse osmosis drinking water plant, a new water tower, and we continue to invest heavily in street projects as well. And if you don't have water, sewer, and streets, development can't occur. So those three components are a key part of why Grimes is growing, and will continue to do so.
Grimes has a lot of advantages when it comes to development. One of the advantages is we have a lot of construction industry right here in our community that makes it easy for people that want to build in our community to find somebody they can work with.
We've got a single-story, 5,000 square foot building that we actually went ahead and put a drive-through in there anticipating a restaurant, but I'll tell you that we've got some other users looking at taking the whole building that wouldn't use that. And then next door we've got a 15,000 square foot, 2-story building with actually a rooftop patio that we're also anticipating a sit-down restaurant being able to utilize that rooftop patio. But I'll tell you that we've also got larger users looking at that building that wouldn't be of the restaurant variety. So we're having great conversations with a number of tenants right now, especially given our current situation. And but we're not far enough along the lines with any of them to be able to throw names out yet. But we're very excited about the project.
The City of Grimes continues to invest in new infrastructure, new roads, new sewer, new water. It's going to make development in the future even smoother than it's ever been. Grimes is home to some of the largest employers in the world. We're home to Fortune 500 companies like Daimler Trucks North America, Walmart, Amazon, just to name a few. And just recently, we've had a lot of new retail growth. Aldi grocery store opened up. Menards is relatively new to our community. And Hy-Vee just announced that they're not going to build just one big store in Grimes, but overall 3 stores, including a large grocery store and 2 smaller fast and fresh opportunities. This is just a small example of how people are choosing Grimes at an ever-increasing rate.
I think number one is location, location, location. Not to be, cliche, but you're at the intersection of Highway 44 and 141. So you look at connectivity to the rest of the metro area. The other thing that a lot of these national retailers and users are looking at is just the large number of new not just single family homes, but townhomes and apartments that are going on up in Grimes in general. Grimes has been a poorly kept secret for a while, but it's really starting to come into its own as one of the fastest growing communities in the state. And it's quickly approaching that critical mass point where a lot of these retailers, where if they were coming into our market, would say, we're a two-store market, we might need something north and east and south and west. Well, now north and west is getting a nod as well. So it's I think the combination of accessibility as well as the large influx and population growth in the surrounding community is what's driving a lot of this.
So Grimes has a lot of young families, a lot of young, educated, working people, and they demand a certain style of life here. So we have trails, we have parks, we have great restaurants, we have wonderful amenities, and the number of those things continues to increase with the size of the community. A lot of families choose Grimes because of our wonderful school districts. Grimes is served by two of the best school districts in the entire state, Dallas Center Grimes and Johnston Community School District.
So I had an opportunity to be on the Chamber and Economic Development Board probably back about eight or 9 years ago, and I could see a lot of plans in place that, as you fast forward, now we're actually seeing a lot has come to fruition, and I can tell it wasn't just a couple of guys who say, hey, this would be a good idea. This was ongoing work. This was a city that got together and said, we need to work towards this goal. It was other members within the community that said we want to support this, and it ended up working out. This is truly a community feel to it, and they've managed to double, even triple the size of the town without losing that. And I have a lot of confidence going forward. That's exactly what this town is going to continue to do.
So we hope you've learned a little bit about Grimes today. It's a growing community that has a lot of reasons why people choose and businesses choose to be here. If you ever have questions, feel free to contact Grimes Chamber and Economic Development. We can be found online at grimesiowa.com.